Today on Ask This Old House.
I'm going to install some flower boxes.
And I'm going to make them look beautiful.
Now these are made of cellular PVC. It looks like wood, but it will never rot like wood.
All right, now we can get the plants and stuff, setting them in. And we'll take an unfinished cedar fence and show you 3 ways to apply a new coat of stain.
With this machine, very easy to use.
So go with the grain.
Always with the grain.
That's next on Ask This Old House. This homeowner just installed a brand new cedar fence, and cedar is a great material for fencing because it is naturally rot and insect resistant. Now this fence is unfinished, and that's a perfectly good look. It will turn a silvery gray, and over the years that fence may look a lot like this one. But this isn't the look the homeowners want. They actually want to add a little bit of protection and a little bit of color, so the whole fence has to be stained. And to help us with that, we called in a painter. And our painter is Mauro Enrique. Mauro, good to see you again.
Nice to see you, Kevin. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So we're going with a stain look on the fence. What are our choices?
Exactly. I got 3 samples here, Kevin. The first one is a clear coat on cedar, which you can see a lot of the grain and no pigmentation on it.
Right.
And this will last about 2 years. You're going to have to recoat it.
So every 2 years, new coat?
Every 2 years.
All right, and we got lots of color here, so lots of pigmentation here?
Exactly. This is a solid body stain,
Yep.
which you can see no grain, okay? And if you want to keep the same nice look as you see now, every 4 years you got to put a coat on.
So 4 years for this one. And what is this option here?
Exactly. This is the third option, which is a semi-transparent stain, which you can see a lot of grain, and then you can see some colors too.
So just a little bit of green pigmentation. And how long until we have to reapply semi-transparent?
On this one, every 5 to 6 years, you got to put a coat on.
Right.
Yeah.
So which one are we putting up today?
Today we're going to use this one here, which is a semi-transparent.
All right, how do we get it up?
Oh, I have 3 different ways we can apply it. Okay, so let me show you how to apply this stain by using the roller. The first thing we got to make sure is the fence is nice and clean.
And we've got a brand new fence. I saw you guys wiping off some debris, so we are good to go.
Good to go. And we're going to use this 9 inches wide by 1/2 inch nap.
Okay.
Okay, which is good because the cedar fence is a kind of rough surface.
So the rougher the surface, the bigger the nap of the roller.
Exactly, Kevin. That makes sure that every single area has covered by the stain.
Okay, so 9.5 inches to get the body, but you've got this little 4-inch roller here, obviously to cut in around the tighter spots, right?
Absolutely, because this big roller won't get everywhere, especially around the rails and posts and around the corners. So we'll be using this 4-inch roller that will do the cutting.
You cut, I'll roll.
Very good. Let's do it. Okay, we're going to start with the cutting. Make sure your rollers get some stain on it. And we're starting with this corner. Make sure you get prepared for the big roller. All right, nice and easy. I want to make sure that I get all the corners, tops and bottom of the rails, the posts, anywhere that the big roller cannot reach. Okay, Kevin, now I'm done with this panel. I think it's time to cover the field.
I'm coming in. The big roller, Mauro. All right. A lot faster with 9 inches than with 4.
If you go a little slower, a less stain on the roller to avoid the dripping. There we go. That's nice. Very good.
So, Mauro, it's a little darker where you've already cut in compared to the field that I'm working on.
Exactly, Kevin. This is why I like to do one panel at a time. As soon as I finish with the cutting, you come in with the big roller to avoid that. That spreads the stain uniform.
So we're going to go wet to wet.
Wet to wet, yep. For the top piece, I'm working off a ladder so I can see what I'm doing.
Okay, Mauro, looks pretty good to me.
Looks good, but let me show you another way to do it. On this next section, we're spraying.
Okay.
Unlike on this other side that had 2 steps, this was going to be 1 step only.
So with the rollers, the 2 steps is we're cutting in the corners and then we're rolling the field. Here, corners and field are all going to be sprayed at once.
Exactly. I got my machine,
All right.
which is any homeowners can get at any home center.
Looks nice and contained. Is this for the stain down here?
Exactly. This is where you pour your stain.
Yep.
Very easy to use. Over here, I get the tip that I can turn and go horizontal,
Yeah.
or I can turn this up and go vertical.
And what do you prefer, horizontal or vertical?
I prefer the vertical because of the grain of the wood.
So go with the grain.
Always with the grain.
All right, and obviously electric motor on top to power it.
Exactly.
All right, so goggles and a mask, right?
Goggles and a mask, let's go. I want to to go 50% over my last pass to get even coverage. Okay, I think this reservoir is empty. It's time to refill. Horizontal.
Well, the roll is a lot slower than that sprayer model, but of course that's not news to you guys. You use sprayers all the time.
All the time, Kevin. All the time. And for a small job, this sprayer will be okay.
It's got some limitations though, right? I mean, you're actually carrying around all the weight with you. You're carrying around the motor, you're carrying around the reservoir of stain as you work. And the reservoir's not that big. I mean, I watched you refill it at least once for just one section of fence. So, limitations?
Exactly. This reservoir only holds a quart.
Right, okay. So for a big professional job, you guys are going to use something else.
Yes, I have this machine with an airless. Painter's best friend.
Airless sprayer. So we've got a standalone motor here.
Yes, motor here. This is my reservoir.
As big as we want. 5-gallon bucket in this case. You're not going to have to refill this that frequently.
Not really. It can hold up to 5 gallons of paint or stain.
Sucks it out of the bucket, actually pumps it through the hose, and then it brings it to the nozzle.
So this gun over here, which is much lighter to use, which I can go horizontal.
Yep.
Or I flip my hand and I can go vertical.
Yeah. If you don't have a reservoir attached to the nozzle, it's easy to go any way you want.
Exactly. And I can get jobs much faster with this.
All right, so let's see your technique with the airless sprayer.
Let's do it. I'm using the same technique. I want to keep the same distance from the fence to the sprayer and overlap each pass by 50%. I'll go back and clean up any drips with my mini roller.
That is a nice sprayer model and great technique. So can we rent the airless sprayer?
Yes, you can. At some home center and any good paint store.
All right, well, 3 different ways to stain the fence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Good, you?
What are you doing? You got a little bit of everything going on there. Plants and pipes and plastic boxes?
Yeah, I'm actually going to help a homeowner spruce up the front of his house.
Really? Need a little help?
Well, actually, I have some help on this one.
All right. Have a good day.
All right, I'll see you later. All right, Tom, here's one of the window boxes that we're going to be installing on your house today. Now, these are made of cellular PVC. They look like wood, you work it like wood, but it won't rot like wood.
So do I have to do any maintenance on this at all?
Well, I suppose if you want, you could paint it. Other than that, you can just leave it like this.
Oh, I like it like this.
All right. The molding on top is also cellular PVC. Now, inside, the manufacturer has drilled some weep holes, so if it rains or you overwater the plants, the water will drain out and the roots won't rot. They also supply a bracket like this that will go underneath if you like them, but they're not structural, they're strictly cosmetic. All right, let's position the window box on the house and see how it looks. Now, we can take the window box and hold it tight to the underside of the window like that, or we can drop it down a little bit like that. It's your call.
I think I like it tight to the window.
All right, tight to the window it'll be. All right, now you have vinyl siding on the house, so it's pretty easy to take the siding off so we can locate the structure. But I can tell you right now, on each side of the window, there's a jack stud and a king stud. I want to find some structure in the middle so we can mount the window box to that. Now, to remove the vinyl siding, there's actually one strip of vinyl or 2 rows of clapboard, all right? So we take it by putting my finger in the joint, and I pull down a little bit. That separates it. I reach in and take the other piece. I pull down on that, and I slide my hand right across like this. All right? Now that frees up the vinyl so I can look underneath, and I see that you have an air infiltration barrier on here, which is good. Now, if I tap on the wall right here, there's a king stud and a jack stud, nice and solid. Same thing down here, nice and solid. But I want to find something in the middle. So I listen. Sounds like there might be one there. And there's one right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole to verify. Let's see what happens. All right, there's no stud there. So I should be able to move it over a little bit to the left. All right, there's a stud right there. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a reference off of the hole that we drilled into the structure and mark the window right there as a reference. All right, now we need to put our siding back into position. And to do that, I need this tool right here. This is called a zip tool. And if you notice right on the top, there's this little hook. That hook will go under the siding and hook on that edge. I'm then pull down on it, and that will stretch the siding. I'll push against it as I slide, and that will lock it into position. So I get down the end, pull the end down, push the siding into the slot. Now I'm going to slide my zip tool, pushing the siding at the same time, locking the siding into position. Now I'm going to hold the box to the underside of the window and just eyeball it, but center it. Now I'm going to transfer the mark that's on the window down to the window box. Okay, now hold it up tight. You got that there? I'm using my drill with a right angle attachment so I can fit it inside the window box and drill straight through the back of the window box into the siding to mark a reference hole. Okay, now we'll drill a bigger hole. Okay, here are 3 reference holes drilled into the vinyl siding. Now we're going to mount our window boxes to the wall using these 4-inch hot-dip galvanized lag bolts, 3/8 of an inch in diameter. Now the thing you have to know about vinyl siding, it will expand and contract over its length with temperature change. So the manufacturer actually put a slot in the top of the siding for the installer to nail the siding to the house. When he nails the siding to the house, he can't nail it tight. It has to be hung on the wall loose so that it will move. Now I want to do the same thing here in the vinyl siding, allowing it to move.
So these slots are pretty big. How big of a hole are you gonna?
Well, I'm actually going to take my drill and I'm going to drill a 5/8 of an inch hole so that the siding will move around our lag bolts. Now I need to drill a hole into the structure. So when I screw in the lag bolt, I won't split the structure. So this hole needs to be a little bit smaller than the diameter of the lag bolt, so I'll drill a 1/4 inch hole. Now I'm going to drill 3 holes in the back of the flower box, 3/8 of an inch the size of the lag bolt. All right, now what I want to do before we install the lag bolts into the holes, I want to caulk the holes to make them watertight. Now I've started the lag bolts into the hole at the back of the window box, and we'll just line them up with the hole in the wall. If you want to tighten that lag bolt up there using that ratchet. Alright, now you don't want to make it too tight, you just want to bottom it out, so we don't want to put stress on the siding. That's pretty good. Alright, now let's do the other one. Alright, it's all mounted to the wall, and that's not going to go anywhere. Alright, the next thing we have to do is we need to mount these brackets underneath. And they're PVC brackets, so they're going to go just about like that on each end. And we'll actually glue them in place with some PVC cement. Push it right up there, line it up on one of those lines. Just hold it nice and firm, about 5 or 6 seconds. All right, that should hold it. All right, what do you think? How's it look?
Oh, looks great, Tom.
All right, 3 more window boxes to go. What do you think?
Well, it looks great, but it'll really look nice when we get some flowers in here.
Well, I sure will, but you know what? I'm no landscaper. But I actually know a guy that can help you out.
Take a look at these flowers. This is what we're going to fill your window boxes with today. Now, they're primarily annuals, which means they'll blossom and blossom all the way till fall, and then they'll die. But what I like to do is sneak in a perennial here and there. This is called Hack and Chloe, and see the gold color on that? That'll last all season long, but it's a perennial. So at the end of the season, you can take it out of the window box and plant it out in the garden. Now, starting down here, the first plant, this is a chartreuse sweet potato vine. This is going to hang over and grow right over this edge of the pot. Next to the sweet potato vine, we have 2 osteospermum. This one's called Soprano, and this one is Peach Symphony. How do you like that color?
I like the colors. They go well together.
Real pretty plants. In the front, we have Scaevola. It's going to hang down, and this white flower will be on it all season long. Again, going all the way down to the ground, maybe, if we're lucky. 2 more osteospermum and the sweet potato vine to close everything off. Now, this is a great selection of plants because these particular plants don't need to be deadheaded. Some plants you have to go out and take off the dead flower. These ones drop it themselves. No work involved for you. The first thing we have to do is put in a piece of landscape fabric, and what that's going to do is protect all those little holes down in there from getting clogged and also allowing dirt to come through the bottom of the box and staining the house. Once we get that in place, we're going to put stone on top of that. I'm going to put in about 1 inch of this stone, so I'm going to dump some out. You just take and spread it around for me. Okay? All right, that looks good. Now, these window boxes, they come with a real interesting feature. It's a self-watering reservoir. This is 1.5 inch PVC pipe that has a couple elbows glued on it here, and it comes down, an end cap, and then a fill here. Now, you put water in this when you're watering your plants, and the water comes down, fills the pipe, and then it will wick out into the soil. Instead of watering 2 or 3 times a week, you may only water once a week. So we're just going to take this, come over here with me, and I want that end out where we can get at it very easily. That's it, all right?
Yep.
Okay, let's get some soil in the box. This is actually a special potting mix we're using in your window box. It has fertilizer in it, so you don't have to fertilize the plants during the season, but it also has an agent that absorbs water, and then as the soil dries out, it releases the water back into the soil, so less watering of the plants. What I'm going to do is dump this in, and I want you to spread it about halfway up in the window box for me, okay? Just grab it, don't be afraid of it.
Okay, we're about halfway.
Yep. All right, now we can get the plants and start setting them in. All right, I'm going to start with this sweet potato vine, and I'm going to put it in this corner here. Now, these plants haven't been in this container very long, so I am going to tease the roots out a little bit just to make it easier for them to grow out into the soil. I don't think we need the tag anymore either. What I'm going to do is dig a little hole here. Now, I want this to crawl over this side, so I'm actually going to plant it at a little bit of an angle like that. And I want to make sure that the top is down about 1/2 inch in the window box, so when we water, the soil doesn't come splashing over the box. So I'm just going to put a little around that. I'm going to grab just a little more and make sure that's nice and tucked in the box. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take the Hack and Chloe, because that's going to be in the center. I'm going to figure out just where I want it, and it's going to go there. Let's see what this one looks like. No, that's not root bound at all either. Tease that out a little bit. I'm paying attention now because the next window box is all you. Make a little hole, center it right there in the center of the window, and then put a little soil around that. Okay. That looks pretty good. Now we'll grab the osteospermum. I'm going to put the tall one in the back. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to check it again, see how the roots look. They're not too bad. We'll tease them out a little bit. And take a look at this plant, put the tallest part in the back and make a hole. Set it right down in. That's all there is to it. The other plants will go in just like these did. Nice job, it looks really nice. Now there's fertilizer in this soil, but it's going to take a while to break down. So I added liquid fertilizer to this watering can, and I'm giving the plants a good drink to really get them off on the right foot. The rest of the time, you're going to water these boxes with that wand. Take and hit that for me. See what a nice stream of water? It's going to make it very easy to keep these nice and wet. But for now, I want you to fill that reservoir up for me.
Wow, Roger, it looks amazing. When we started this morning, the house was so plain. I can't believe we got all 4 boxes installed and planted in one day.
I love planting window boxes. It gives me a chance to work with new plants in different color combinations.
I really appreciate it.
No problem. You're going to keep these watered, right?
Absolutely.
So now those window boxes, they're going to look good all summer long, but eventually those plants will die off.
They're annuals. Come early fall, they're going to start to die, and that's when I like to flip the boxes over and put in a grass or ornamental kale. Look at the color on that plant.
Beautiful. And how long will these last?
Those will last into early winter, and then I'll flip the boxes again. I like to buy these small evergreens. This is a holly and a boulevard moss cypress. Put them right in the box, and then come spring, plant them right out in the yard.
Okay, good idea, but we are buying more plants now.
You are, but you can take cuttings from anything. This is a winter berry. Look at the berries on that. It looks spectacular.
Yeah.
Boulevard moss cypress. I've even taken some miscanthus, bundled together, put a spike on it, and you can push that right down into the window box.
That is a great idea.
Now, one other tip. Spray the evergreen cuttings and your evergreen plants with anti-desiccant. It'll keep them from drying out in the winter.
All right, color all year long. Thank you, Roger. And until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
And I'm Roger Cook.
For Ask This Old House. Next time on Ask This Old House.
I'm going to show you how to maintain all types of gasoline engines.
Now you need 4 processes for this engine to run. You need intake, compression, combustion, and exhaust.
Richard is working on a smart way to conserve water. He's working on a gray water system.
Gray water is water from showers, sinks, and washing machines. It's a little dirty, but it's a great source of irrigation water. So you get a huge savings on the amount of water you would otherwise need to irrigate.